Warner Brothers has submitted Superman for awards consideration across multiple top categories. That includes Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, but the studio is also backing the film in key supporting and craft categories. Now, obviously, I could scroll down through it and you're not going to be able to really see here. So, what I'm going to do for you is enlarge that right there for you. So these are the for your consideration for Superman. And this is real exciting. I'm telling you this is exciting because one, this shows the confidence that Warner Brothers has in this movie. Look at the slew of films that have come out from Warner Brothers this past year that have been successful. And Superman is one of the ones that they decided to put out for the for-year consideration for the awards. That's huge. That is huge. And the reason why I want to bring that up is because there's so much discussion around James Gunn about how there's no confidence in him and they don't appreciate what he's done and they think that he's a failure and yada, yada, yada. Well, they wouldn't be putting his film up for awards for their consideration for awards if they thought it wasn't worthy of such. Now, I do admit, out of all of these potential nominations that it could get, I don't believe that a lot of these are possible for him out of all the films that have come out this year. But I do think that there are a few on here that he could very well get nominated for and has a shot to win. Now I'm going to go through them here. Best Picture, Best Director, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Actor for David Corenswet, Best Supporting Actress Rachel Brosnahan, and Isabella Merced. Now, I want to go through these ones real quick here because Best Picture would fall under, for Peter Safran and James Gunn, the whole, kit and caboodle essentially for the film. But what I want to say is, look, as much as you may like this movie, as much as I may like this movie, as much as a lot of people may like it, when you have movies like Sinners, when you have movies, other films that are more genre related and, award darlings out there, Superman's not going to be one of those films that gets put in that category for a nomination. They put it there because why not? What's the worst that could happen? It could get nominated. They could put it up there because it was a massive, darling for the audience. People loved it, but not a great chance for that. Best Director for James Gunn. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's out of the realm of possibility, but it's not often that you see a director for these comic book movies get this nomination. So I would kind of, temper your expectations for those two particular nominations. Best Adapted Screenplay. I would say this is not out of the realm of possibility, but not one of the ones that I would sit there and say, yes, this is one of the best chances to happen, because I don't think it is. But honestly, I haven't watched enough movies this year like I want to sit there and say, like, yes, this is definitely a shoe-in for a nomination. But I'm going to sit here and say, look, I've heard enough and I know enough, to realize, like, and I watched Superman, and look, I enjoy the movie, but I don't think that this is going to get this nomination. Best Actor David Corenswet. Look, he did great in the role, and I could absolutely see in this year where there's not a lot of talk for discussions on actors and actresses. I can see a possibility of him maybe getting a nomination, but I still think it's a long shot. But hey, you never know. Same goes with Rachel Brosnahan and Isabel Merced. Then you have your supporting actors in Nicholas Hoult, Edie Gathegi, Anthony Carrigan, Nathan Fillion. Kind of falls in the same line. Best casting. That kind of falls in line with the actor, supporting actress, and actor, that kind of thing. Maybe it could. Henry Braham for cinematography. Look, I think that's one of the weaker parts of the movie is the cinematography. I'm not saying it's terrible like some people say, but I think it is one of the weaker parts. I am probably going to say no, that's not going to get in there. Best film editing. I'm kind of shocked they put that up for it because that was one of the major complaints from critics and audience. So I don't see that getting it. Now, this is where we start getting into the things that I think have a shot to getting nominated and even win, such as best production design. Because I think the production design was beautiful. I think there was a lot of this design of this production and different aspects of this film were absolutely beautiful. Best costume design. Look, I mean, I would laugh my ass off if this movie won best costume design. I would. I would laugh my ass off, especially with how much people ragged on the Superman costume. Do I think it's going to happen? Maybe not, but I would laugh my ass off. Best makeup and hairstyling. Again, I think it's possible, but I don't think there's anything over the top here that I would sit there and say, hey, with the exception of Anthony Carrigan and the role of wow, just left my mind right there. But you know what I'm saying? Like his makeup and his design was absolutely incredible. Best sound. I mean, the sound design and everything in that regard was great. That's another aspect that could very well be up and up for nomination and possibly win. Visual effects, I think, were fantastic in this movie. I think that's a possibility. Look, I'm not a big fan of the original or the score for this. I thought it was okay. I'm curious on how they can go with original score when they took a lot of pieces of the music from John Williams. I can't believe that that could be used or called original score. So that's a little iffy there. But even if they did, allow it to pass through as original score, I don't think it's strong enough to win. And then best original song, okay, whatever. I mean, maybe it could do that, but not so much. But again, it's exciting, it's fun, it's interesting to see them do this. It's great to see that they have the confidence in this movie to do this, to really put them out there. And look, I have no doubt in my mind that it's going to get some nominations. And I have a feeling that there is a possibility that it will win a couple of those nominations. It's not going to win the big ones. I don't think it's going to win the big ones. So don't get your hopes up. I mean, it'd be great if it did. But I think some of these production ones, I think you're going to see it hit one or two of those for sure. It does have some stiff competition when it comes to Fantastic Four because I think some of the production side of things with Fantastic Four were really good as well. So it's going to have some competition there. But besides that, I think overall, I think this film has a chance to hit some of those. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below.